It's just the way that they tried to diversify the profession was an issue. It actually led to a class action lawsuit, and it's titled Brigida versus Department of Transportation. And through the discovery process of that lawsuit, we've learned a lot about the FAA's hiring practices.
Dude, this is crazy that they are now devoting a news program defending Trump's anti-DEI stance. That's really alarming. That's how we know, dude. This is like Tenet Media. This is Dave Rubin and Benny Johnson shit.
What led to this crash, but we have some very strong opinions and ideas, and I think we'll probably state those opinions now. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre.
Dude, you notice how he starts with the Obama.
Best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude. They have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on because I always felt this was a job that had to be superior intelligence.
President Donald Trump is catching a lot of heat for his opinions regarding what caused or what led to the mid-air collision between.
Can we just talk about the way she started that? Did you notice the way, just the way she introduced that? Dude, who's paying them? I mean, we know the right-wing slide, but who's paying them? Can you imagine if Karen Bass had said what he just said, or Gavin Newsom? Like, holy shit. Dude, she is sniffing it, bro. She's like sniffing the Trump taint.
Obviously a tragedy, so immediately pivoting to politics is definitely in bad taste, especially since in that statement, you hear Donald Trump say, we don't know what the cause of this was. So why immediately jump into DEI hiring practices? But there is some truth to what he's saying about what was happening with hiring practices in regard to air traffic control prior to 2016, which I'm gonna get into details.
She did not. No, she like briefly calls him out for an opinion and then comes right in and just cups his balls. No. Oh, what are we watching? This is the same woman that like was so anti-Trump, taking away women's rights. Like, what are we doing?
And I also want to note that Donald Trump's press conference was riddled with all sorts of contradictions.
The president was asked specifically, should Americans now feel safe to fly? And he specifically said yes, even though he had criticized the institution, the Federal Aviation Administration, for its diversity policies. Those policies are still in place. That personnel is still in place.
I like this guy's tie, dude. He's got a good tie, dude.
It's okay.
Bold.
It's okay. We are safe. Do you see a contradiction in that?
I mean, I definitely see a contradiction. That doesn't mean everything that Trump said during the press conference was false. And I want to get into what he said that was accurate in just a minute. But I think.
Oh, that's interesting. Our left-wing progressive news network wants to focus on what Trump said that was accurate. That's a new twist. Okay. All right, Anna. You go, girl.
I think that Stuart Varney makes a good point here, and I'm curious what you think, Cenk.
Yeah, I mean, look, things are breaking down in such an interesting way where Fox News is admitting that Trump is wrong. We're about to show you something where Trump is right. So that's good. That means actual news is breaking out.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, when we agree with Fox News or whatever, that means it's good, yeah.
Put in one comment from a member. Cenk's left 𝗙cie𝗶₫ on tyt.com said, when we need caring and reassuring voice, our president is as deplorable as possible. He is disgusting. And look, guys, even with the thing that we're about to tell you,
he is disgusting.
Is this the time to divide the country? Is this the time to try to make...
Oh, look at Cenky. Is this the time to divide the country? Cenk, see, this is what pisses me off more than anything, guys, okay, is this. Right here, dude, because the person dividing the country is not your fucking channel member who said Trump is disgusting. The person dividing the country is the motherfucker who just stood at a podium doing a news conference where even though everyone involved was a straight white man, he attacked Obama. He said it was diversity, and he said the transportation guy was at fault, presumably because he's gay. Like, Cenk, come on, bro. But you're like telling your channel member that he was the one dividing the country. Like, homie, Cenk, dude, what are you doing, bro? Like, and goddamn, whoever that channel member is, like, please cancel your shit, bro. You got to get out of the loop. All right, you're getting harmed.
Nevertheless, there was a program at the FAA that was deeply troubling about 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, and this is the thing about Trump, right? This collision happened under his watch. So he's worried about the political consequences or ramifications of it.
Yeah, he blamed it on Obama.
Before anyone knows.
He's like you guys. Everything's the black guy's fault, right? Right? It was all Mondale Robinson's fault. It's all Pastor Ben's fault, right? It's not Ana, the Armenian woman who's getting whiter every fucking day we turn on the show. She's like 2 shades whiter, right? It's not her fault. It's not Cenk Uygur, like the Charlie Kirk prostate massager's fault. It's got to be Obama.
So what he was referring to were the DEI hiring practices over at the FAA as it pertains to air traffic controllers. And about 2 years ago or a year ago, I came across a really interesting report about what was going on and how these practices ended in 2016 when Trump got elected for his first term. So the questionable hiring practices for air traffic controllers were part of an effort to diversify the profession. It's just the way that they tried to diversify the profession was an issue. It actually led to a class action lawsuit, and it's titled Brigida versus Department of Transportation. And through the discovery process of that lawsuit, we've learned a lot about the FAA's hiring practices. So let's get to those details. So previously, each candidate for air traffic control was required to pass this 8-hour cognitive test known as ATSAT, A-T-S-A-T.
Dude, this is crazy that they are now devoting a news program defending Trump's anti-DEI stance. Now, again, it's hard with the cognitive testing because cognitive testing doesn't in and of itself really quantify ability. It usually quantifies privilege. It really does. You know, you look at something like the SAT, you don't have to be smart to get a good grade. You can be a very mid student, but if you train and you take those classes and when you get prepared, you can go in there and get a score that makes you look smart as hell. Wealthy people do this with their kids all the fucking time. Okay, testing favors people who can afford to be trained how to take the test. There's other shit of just food security, housing security, having, a stay-at-home mom, right? I mean, access to healthcare, there's a whole bunch of shit. But I think it's really interesting, though, that what they're doing is the program is not centering around Trump or even Trump's response or even Trump's ineffectual nature and how this is going to affect us. Their program is centering around the thing that Donald Trump was railing against that had nothing to do with this fucking incident. And that's really alarming. That's how we know, dude, this is like Tenet Media. This is Dave Rubin and Benny Johnson shit. Somebody is pumping them with money that is causing them to espouse sideline Trump support. Somebody is pulling the strings because this shouldn't be the story. This is not normal.
A very effective way of hiring people for the job in 2013, but that actually soon changed because of the pressure to diversify the air traffic control workforce. At that point, the National Black Coalition of Federal Aviation Employees lobbied the Department of Transportation, the FAA, and the Congressional Black Caucus hard on this issue. Soon the FAA commissioned a barrier analysis that argued that the 8-hour cognitive test air traffic controller applicants took posed a barrier for black candidates.
I find that totally fucking believable. And you ready? You ready to one up, guys? Follow my reasoning here, guys, because I'm going to blow your fucking mind. I will posit that if we go back and look at the development of this test, if we go back to when this 8-hour cognitive test was designed, the people who designed it so it could only be passed by white men. And boom. And probably, right, white men of a certain class level in society. I bet they designed this fucking test to be a barrier. If we look at the testing they do for policing or for management jobs, even the whole you got to have a 4-year degree to apply, those qualifications are created as a fucking barrier. They're designed to prevent black people from being able to pass them. They're designed to prevent women from being able to pass them. They are specifically put together to cater to the way the male brains operate. Dude, they've been doing this like all over the place. Crash testing was designed for the male body, so women get hurt worse in cars. Medicines designed for men. Everything is like that. It's like the poll test that's designed to keep black people from voting. You know, it is definitely systemic. Everybody who is privileged enough to be able to go to those specialized schools, get trained to take that test and take that test, boom, they automatically get in, whether they're qualified or not. If they can afford to get into that environment to be able to train to pass that shit, and that test was catered for them to be able to do it, boom, you're in. This is weird. I'm sorry, guys, watching a progressive channel do this is fucking strange, guys. This is some weird shit. They're on it. Look at the title on this thing. The title on this is Trump's unbelievable comments about midair crash in Washington, D.C. So the title of this video is like anti-Trump. And then the video is like Trump really has a point. There's like a significant amount of deception going on with these guys right now.
So the majority of people would fail, but in the background of all of this happening, the very organization, the National Black Coalition of Federal Aviation Employees, were advising black applicants on how to answer the questions in a way that would ensure that they would get hired.
You see that though? The coverage, she's saying the black coalition was helping the black people cheat and be able to pass this test. That's what she's saying. They designed a test that everyone was going to fail, but then the black guys were helping the black people pass. Like, dude, they're so fucking racist. They are literally waxing Trump's ass right here.
In the old days, you know, before this program was put into place, they would take the competency test and that would settle. And it was an 8-hour test, grueling, but we got you good qualified candidates.
Again, no, it was grueling and it was designed to be a barrier to keep certain types of candidates out. Make no mistake about it, that grueling 8-hour test was designed to make it so white men who went to the fancy school and got the fancy training could easily pass that test. And nobody who didn't go through that rigmarole could pass it, okay? Regardless of whether they were qualified or not. That test was created as a barrier.
They're like, oh, black people are probably gonna be bad at this job. So design a questionnaire to find the crappiest candidates so we can find more. No,
Dude, what is he doing? Like, see, dude, this is where I just can't. Oh
no, who are these monsters who got paid $1.5 million?
Because what he's not taking into account is the fact that the original 8-hour test was designed to be a barrier. Everything about our systems, the tests, the hoops that are put before people are designed to be barriers. Voter ID, okay? Classic. Voter ID is a barrier that is designed to prevent black and brown people and poor people from voting. That's what voter ID is. It is presented as something to protect the safety and the legitimacy of the election, but voter ID is actually a barrier to prevent people. Requiring a college degree. Plenty of idiots get college degrees. Plenty of dumb motherfuckers get college degrees. Requiring a degree is a barrier that keeps certain people, mostly minorities and poor people, out of contention. Always, every standardized test is some type of a barrier. That's really the point of them. You can't measure aptitude with a test. Tests are designed to be barriers. It's like that's the whole point. That's why our system has relied on them so much. If you go to like a Waldorf education, they don't rely on tests. And Waldorf is actually really good education. That's really practical. They learn how to sew. They make books. They learn practical skills. But the education isn't about testing. The whole point of using standardized testing is to create a fucking barrier. That's why it's there. And look at him, dude. He looks like he's shitting his pants here. Dude, they're getting paid. I'm sorry. I don't know who's paying them, but I know they're right wingers. All right. I'm done with these idiots. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.